Listen, if you will, to brief biographies of the early days of 4 individuals. Number 1, from early childhood, Ellie's mother disliked her because she was homely. When she was 6, her father was put in a sanitarium for alcoholics. Although the money had money and prestige, life was lonely and unhappy. This became worse when her parents and her brother all died when she was 10. She went to live with her grandmother, who was disapproving of her. She was not permitted to have friends. She was made to wear a heavy metal brace because of poor posture. Although Ellie was bright, she was not permitted to go to college. Number 2, born of Jewish parents in an area where Jews were hated, Al was slow in learning to talk. In school, he was backward in his studies. His father was very ashamed of Al's lack of athletic ability. As a senior, he stayed out of school for 6 months with a nervous breakdown. His teachers claimed that he would never make a success of anything. He had no friends. He was lonely. He was shy. He acquired odd mannerisms. He made up his own religion and created his own hymns. Al was regarded by everyone as very different. When Al first tried to get into college, he failed. Later, he took the exams again and was admitted, but he was never very good at his studies. Case 3, Tom. During his first year of school, his teacher complained about Tom's habit of daydreaming and told his mother he was mentally ill. Mom didn't agree. She took him out of school and taught him at home. Throughout his childhood, he constantly experimented with things to see how they worked. The neighbors thought he was crazy. Other children left him alone. Even his father thought he was a strange child. In all of his life, Tom only had 3 months of formal education. Number 4, Marty was black. White children were forbidden to play with him. When in Georgia, violence was so intolerable that Marty attempted suicide twice before the age of 13. What kind of possibilities would those 4 individuals have, really? What would they be worth to society or to the world? The first, Ellie. Who's that? Eleanor Roosevelt. The second, Albert Einstein. That's right. The third, Tom. Yes, Thomas Edison. And Martin Luther King Jr. Where would the world be without the contributions of these who were so rejected in the beginning of their lives? How often we reject or ignore people because of race or mannerism or strangeness. We fail to see the value and the worth of people because of our own feelings of inadequacy, our shyness, our failure. We fail to relate to others. We are hesitant to accept them into our relationships and into our friendships. It is terrible to think what we might have missed or what we might have denied or failed to develop in someone else because we have turned someone's friendship away. How much creativity and possibility is denied the world as persons of value are rejected for no other cause except they seem to be different, or they are old, or they are strange. So much has been lost. People have been rejected because they happen to be young or 40 or old. Jesus was always able to see the possibilities in others and discover the hidden values within them. He didn't require someone to be perfect. He saw beyond the exterior. Race meant nothing to him. Social position, unimportant. It didn't matter to Jesus what the person's size was, or if they were extroverted or introverted. The clue to how we can accept others comes from Jesus and His choice of friends and His acceptance of others. Think for a minute about the 12 disciples. Matthew was a crooked tax collector. He was living off the poverty of his own people. He was despised by his own people. Peter was hard-headed and stubborn and uneducated fisherman, argumentative. He ended up denying that he even knew Jesus. Thomas the doubter, show me before I'll believe. The other disciples must have become so frustrated, impatient with him because he constantly needed to be convinced. James and John, rebellious, loud, tough fishermen, prideful, and wanting superior positions within the band of disciples. The other James, quiet, withdrawn, hardly noticed. Who were some of the other folks that Jesus accepted? Zacchaeus, another crooked tax collector, rejected and excluded from village life. The woman of Samaria, despised as being impure. Paul, a persecutor, a killer of Christians, later converted and accepted and loved by Jesus. There's the prostitute that Jesus saved from stoning, and their assortment of others, lepers and blind and gluttons, the unclean, the drunk, the other sinners. Where would the church be today? Where would the whole world be today if Jesus had not taken those persons who established the church and exemplified the very love of God? Without the followers of Jesus and the church they established, it would be a far different world today. Perhaps there would be no world at all. So, what makes a person valuable? Well, if you take human life and reduce it to the basic chemicals of proteins and iron and potassium and salt and the like, we're probably worth a couple of bucks. And yet, athletes can make... I just saw someone signed a $196 million 5-year contract. So what are we worth? Jesus taught that any life, that your life, that my life is priceless. Every life, Jesus demonstrated, is packed with treasure and wealth. Everyone is worth everything. Yes, we're different, but we need the same acceptance. We are unlovable, but we are capable of being loved. We are finite, but we are reflections of an infinite God. Yes, we are sinners, but we are forgiven. It is the gospel truth. Through Jesus, we are loved by God. We are received. We are accepted, we are forgiven, and redeemed by our Almighty Creator. God thinks you are valuable. You are somebody. And you and I can make somebody a somebody. Everyone counts more than we think. So may you be blessed by a simple witness in His name. Even so, Lord Jesus, quickly come. Amen.